Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
It's Monday, August 5th, 2024. I'm Dr. Ome Kongo Davinga sitting in for Roland. Here's what's coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Nebraska's Attorney General and Secretary of State are attempting to nullify two laws enacted by the legislature that restored voting rights to people who have completed their sentences. We'll discuss the case with the Sentencing Project's Senior Director of Advocacy. Black farmers get a monumental victory as they begin receiving payments from the $2.2 billion Discrimination Financial Assistance Program. A Black activist in Nevada gets pummeled with racist threats by white people as he is trying to get a petition signed. We'll show you what happened and hear him explain how it began. 10 years ago, Flint, Michigan got sick from its drinking water and the cover-up began. Tonight, we talk to a writer who's been covering the crisis since it began, reflecting on the government failures that created the issue. We'll show you Roland's conversation he had with civil rights attorney Ben Crump at this year's National Urban League Convention about the upcoming 10th anniversary of Michael Brown's death. And do you know what today is? It's our anniversary. Last year, on this day, the infamous Montgomery Riverfront Brawl took place. Today, we'll look back at how the event unfolded, creating an unofficial holiday. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
The American Civil Liberties Union of Nebraska is challenging top election officials' defiance of state laws that restore the voting rights of anyone convicted of a felony. The ACLU filed the lawsuit on behalf of 3 Nebraska residents who would be denied the right to vote under a directive from Secretary of State Bob Evnen, who recently ordered county election officials not to allow those with felony convictions to register to vote in November's presidential election. Nicole Porter, the Senior Director of Advocacy at the Sentencing Project, joins us now with details about this lawsuit. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us.
Having me.
Absolutely. It seems every week we're having, and sometimes multiple days within the week, we're having conversations about voter suppression efforts. And one of the things I was concerned about when Vice President Harris got the nomination was that those on the Republican side were going to double down on their voter suppression efforts. And yet here we have another situation. Take us up to date on where this case is today.
Yeah, so this is an outrageous example of voter suppression and how people with felony convictions are at specific risk of being charged under voter fraud and being subjected to these voter suppression rules. So the reality in Nebraska is that the legislature passed legislation earlier this year that ended a 2-year waiting period for people with felony convictions to have their voter eligibility restored after they completed their sentence. That followed a law change in 2005 that ended lifetime disenfranchisement in the state, which impacted some some 57,000 people since 2005 through this year's change. Well, a few weeks ago, the state attorney general issued a non-legal binding opinion saying that the legislature did not have the constitutional right to change the law, and said that that law must be changed by the courts, and in effect that he and others on the state's parole board had the authority to restore people's civil rights given the state's constitution. Well, the Secretary of State, who's also on the pardon board, agreed to implement the Attorney General's non-legal binding opinion by issuing that directive to local election officials to not register people with felony convictions to vote. Because of that, because of the state Secretary of State's unwillingness to comply with the law that was changed earlier this year, the ACLU of Nebraska filed a lawsuit last week to compel the Secretary of State to do his job, a mandamus lawsuit. That lawsuit is with the state Supreme Court to expedite the issue given the window of time we're in, and the fact that the general election is quickly approaching, and the fact that that Attorney General opinion and the Secretary of State's directive was issued 2 days before the law was to go into effect, impacting this window of time to bring thousands of Nebraskans onto the voter rolls given this change in law, and now has created chaos and confusion for people impacted by the law in the state. Not just for the people who would be impacted with this recent law change, but for people impacted going back to 2005 with the law change that ended lifetime disenfranchisement in the state. It's an outrageous power grab by the Attorney General and the Secretary of State, two individuals who are a part of a voter suppressive strategy to undermine and weaken the electorate in the state.
Now, my assumption is going to be that the Attorney General was there through much of this time before this, trying to work to change these laws. Do you think that it was strategically timed that they would challenge it at this particular time so as to make it so confusing so that this could not be resolved before the election? Because it seems like this is something they could have done months ago, if not a year or two ago, or even right after they implemented this change in the first place.
Well, this legislation has been introduced year after year, dating back to as far as 2015. The Sentencing Project has been a national partner to state groups in Nebraska to change the law since then. But I think what's really outrageous regarding this is that not only is the Attorney General trying to undermine the law that went into effect in 24, but going back to 2005, so that's some 19 years ago, and didn't address at the time the fact that there was any constitutional challenge to the law that's been in effect for nearly 20 years. It's clear that the politics around supporting rights restoration have changed. There have been bipartisan support for these efforts in a number of states. The era of reform got kicked off in Texas with the Republican governor in the late 90s, and the fact that we're in this era of voter suppression where in states like Florida, Tennessee, and Texas, lawmakers have used voter fraud offenses to target people with felony convictions as a pretext for claiming that there's voter fraud happening, and that this is an example of expanding on that strategy, building on that voter suppressive strategy, just really reminds us how at risk, particularly people with felony convictions who are disproportionately Black and brown, are impacted by these voter suppressive efforts.
Now, you brought up Florida, and that kind of leads to my next question. What are we going to be looking at? Are we going to be looking at things similar to what Ron DeSantis did, where people who have any types of convictions risk being arrested even if they were told to do the right thing? Are we looking at potential situations where people are going to be made an example of in terms of some police rolling up on their door with the video cameras running to try to intimidate others from trying to do the same? Is this what is possible given what's happened right now?
It's a very concerning time in Nebraska and in other places where there's essentially a hostile environment for democracy, for voting. And yes, in Nebraska, advocates, not just individuals who may be impacted by the law change in the current direction of the Secretary of State to not register people, not make people eligible with felony convictions to be able to vote, but also organizations, civil society organizations, civic organizations who might be doing that voter registration are also potentially at risk of criminalization given voter suppressive laws that have been adopted in Nebraska. And this is true in other states as well, where there's been a criminalization around voter registration. People should look closely at what the laws are in their state. Engage voter legal advocacy organizations to confirm what the laws are. But yes, this is a concern in Nebraska, just like it was in Florida leading up to the 2022 midterm elections, and just like other aspects of voting and voter registration have been criminalized in states like Georgia and Tennessee.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the confusion you talk about, their ways that they're trying to change this policy would cause? Like, what are you hearing from people who are part of your community who are dealing with this particular situation? So give us some real life examples of what this confusion looks like. So, a lot of people say, oh, please, people are just talking. Nothing's really going to change on the ground. But through the Sentencing Project and the work that you're doing, what are you seeing and hearing?
No, it absolutely is resulting in confusion and anecdotal reports from people who are directly impacted, people living with felony convictions who wonder about their voter eligibility, or people who are directly impacted doing reentry services for similar residents with felony conviction histories, have questions about eligibility in Nebraska and in other states. I think one thing that's different about today, that is different even about 2000 or previous eras where we were talking about rights restoration for people with felony convictions, is that the news is nationalized. So the reports out of Florida in 2022 resulted not just in confusion in Florida, but resulted in confusion in states like Nebraska and Tennessee and North Carolina. People on the ground who may have seen news reports in their Facebook feeds or other social media platforms question how Florida's practices impact their eligibility. These laws vary from state to state, but everyone is a part of a national conversation, particularly in the United States. So what happens in Florida raises questions for individuals in other parts of the country. Everybody should confirm their eligibility. There are legal resources available. People can visit the National Voting in Prison Coalition's website. That's nationalvotingin-prison-coalition.org. And there are referrals to legal services groups where people can confirm their eligibility if they are living with a felony conviction. But these are the realities that that people are confronted with, that even if they live in one jurisdiction, the news from a different state might impact their awareness of what the laws are and resulting in confusion. And the fact that the laws have changed within states, for example, this year in Nebraska, so there are questions for people living in Nebraska about what their eligibility may be going into the November general election.
And what has been the response of the governor to everything that's going on right now? In favor of what's going on, trying to lay low, vocal support? Well, what has been the response of the governor?
Well, the governor did not veto the bill, the underlying bill that is at question, that the Attorney General issued this non-legal binding opinion on, and that the Secretary of State has said that he will implement. But what the governor did not do was sign the bill, which signals, not enthusiastic support for the legislation and the governor's unwillingness to stand with those directly impacted by the legislation and other civic organizations within the state who worked so hard for so many years to advance the policy. So what we know is that the governor has been absent on this issue when it comes to standing alongside voting rights and pro-democracy and democracy defenders in Nebraska, and that this decision was put forward by the state's attorney general and is being implemented by the state secretary of state.
Nicole Porter with the Sentencing Project, Senior Director of Advocacy. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention, and please keep us posted so we can keep our audience posted as well.
I will definitely do that. Thank you for your attention to this issue.
No doubt. You take care.
too.
And we will be right back. We'll bring in our panel and have this discussion and talk about it a little bit more. You're listening to Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind $100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Latasha from the A.
And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
I want to bring in my panel right now, Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist and author out of Washington, D.C., as well as Joy Chaney, founder of JOI Strategies, also out of D.C. Dr. Malveaux, I'm going to start with you. There's so many things I can ask you, but I'm just going to keep this simple. Here we go again.
Here we go again. I don't know how. This is deliberate disenfranchisement. The state of Nebraska ought to be ashamed, but of course, they're not, and that's not even the point. The point is that when people have done their time, they've served their time, they pay the price, now they're returning citizens. They need to be allowed to come back with the full rights. Nebraska was already a little bit restrictive because you had to be out for 2 years before you could even exercise your voting rights. But then for this legal person to say, no, they can't do it, to send out an order and for the governor not to get involved really speaks to their intention to deliberately separate Black people from their rights. But this is that we've seen it in Florida. We've seen it in other places. If you read, which I'm sure you have read at least part of it, the disgusting document that Project 2025, I mean, one of the things they talk about is taking away voting rights for people who've been convicted. I mean, that document is a disgusting piece of civil rights encroachment, from voting rights to human rights to health rights to anything else. But you see these states falling in line to say, we're going to deny people their votes. And there doesn't seem to be enough. I appreciate the young lady that you just spoke with, but there doesn't seem to be enough pushback to say that these people are absolutely have every right to this. So there is a piece of legislation to restore voting rights to returning citizens, but it's not going to get out of the Senate, not under the current circumstances. Republicans are ambivalent, if not negative about it, and all Democrats are not enthusiastic. So we really do have to look at the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and we have to look at other ways that these people who have served their time, have the opportunity to exercise their franchise.
And Joy, given the work that you do across the country, we talked last week. When I was hosting, we had somebody who was coming in from Georgia with a lawsuit that was being filed down there. And as I said to our guest, Ms. Porter, before our break, I feared that given Kamala's ascension, that this was going to be doubling down and they were going to go overboard. But it seems like even before she took over, they were already starting to go double down. And I don't know if it's part of the fact that Donald Trump is going out and telling people, hey, you don't even have to worry about voting again. I'll take care of it. Like, is this part of the national strategy? I mean, what are you seeing as it relates to these efforts to suppress this vote across the country? Was it already worse and we weren't paying attention, or are they really going harder right now?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt they're going harder right now, but they've been going hard ever since we saw Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win in 2020, and they've been going hard ever since we saw Barack Obama win in 2008 and 2012. They're seeing a growing population of Americans who are not white Americans who they are concerned about. And as we vote more, and as they decide that they're walking away from a whole swath of voters who are people of color, which is bizarre to anyone who can do the math, they're getting panicked. And as part of their strategy for winning, and let me be clear what we're saying when we say they, Republicans. Part of the RNC, part of the Republican, part of the conservative strategy for winning is to suppress the votes of people who are non-white. That's part of their strategy. It has been for some time now. And so long ago, when we thought they were trying to bring in people of color to their party, which of course would be the smart thing to do, they have separated from that. And they have said, if we can't beat them, we'll just suppress their right to vote. That's where we are. You know, the felon disenfranchisement is part of that. There had been a surge of people who, for often religious reasons, were saying, how do you say we believe in second chances and redemption? When people serve their time, you ought to allow them to reenter society. And also, we know that reentering society and getting the benefits of society is one of the things that reduces recidivism. But when your goal isn't to reduce recidivism, when your goal isn't to make people whole again and to be ultimate good citizens again, your goal is to suppress them and to make sure that they don't have the full rights of citizenry as you do, to make sure that the people that you have enslaved through the carceral system, right, modern day slavery, are continuously harmed by those decisions. Then of course you're going to do everything you can do to prevent them from being full citizens and being able to vote. But what's really clear is that this is not the rule everywhere. What's happening in Florida, Nebraska, and other places, not the rule everywhere. There are places in the country where if you are not currently sitting in jail, you can vote, right? So please check the rules for who can and cannot vote in your district. Please tell the people in your family, black, white, male, female, indifferent, if they have a conviction, don't let what we're talking about here and what's happening in other places diminish your willingness to at least check and see if you can vote. We know that part of the reason they do this is if someone's serious about a story in Florida, Nebraska, wherever, they might then, they might pull themselves out of the process by saying, well, I'm a felon, I can't vote. That is not the case. That is not the case. So we want you to challenge the system, make liars out of them, and not suppress your own vote by not going and seeing what the rules are in your state.
But they must see what the rules are.
Dr. Malvo, as you prepare to follow up with what Joy was saying, I want you to also answer the question of whether you think, because people often say that Democrats play checkers while Republicans are playing chess. Are you optimistic that this cycle around Democrats are being more forceful in how they're challenging it? And I just want you to add some thoughts on that as it relates to the comments you are about to make.
Okay, thanks, Amakongo. First, I want to just say the sister laid out very rousing, and thank you, reminder that people need to check the rules, need to vote, need to encourage their relatives to vote. But I want to say that please check the rules. When people are being arrested, people are being given false information, people are being told, yeah, you can vote, they fill out the forms, and then they get arrested. Many of these people are moderate income people who don't have money for a lot of fines. So people need to be very careful, if necessary, check with a lawyer. I know that Barbara Arnwine, Transformative Justice Coalition, and there are many other organizations are prepared to help people. If you have any question at all, check with legal, because we don't want you getting arrested. We'll be talking about that on Roland too. Now, regarding, I don't know that I'm pessimistic or optimistic, Omakongo, because these cases, what they all have in common is voter suppression. How they're actualized is different by county and state by state. I have not seen, except for Arnwine and a couple others, I have not seen folks really go after these states that are suppressing the vote that are preventing returning citizens from exercising their franchise. I just haven't seen it widespread. I'm glad that we're talking about it here today. And I know we've talked about Florida in the past, and some of the other states. And Joy is right. This is not everywhere. But I do think that Democrats would be well served if this were more of a national, if there were more of even just a grid that says in Florida you can do this, in California you can do that. Well, in California you can do anything. So I didn't say that about my home state. But basically, it would be useful to have a grid of some sort. It would be useful if law students were getting out of the community and saying, we want to help with this. So it is going to be a problem. And the problem is this election is going to hang on margins. It's going to hang on, people are talking today about who the vice president should choose for her running mate. And basically, each one of the three men she's considering might bring a percentage point or two. If we have an election that hangs on a percentage point or two, if a percentage point, or even half a percentage point, gets misdirected, that's going to be a problem. Remember, the former president won Georgia by 11,000 votes. So when we think about those very slim margins, we have to think about every single vote counting.
No, you're
That's right. Can I just say one other thing on that?
Please.
It is so critical. What Dr. Melville said is absolutely right. We are talking about slim margins here, and they know this. So if they can scare just a few of you, just enough of you into saying, well, I had a conviction, or some people overinterpret and say, I went to jail, or I had a misdemeanor, or what, they will overinterpret and they will take themselves out. Please do not do that. If you are not currently sitting in jail, I want you to check the rules. And even then, I still want you to check the rules for what happens if you can and cannot vote with your board of elections. With your board of elections, and yes, we've talked about many other orgs, but every place has a board of elections. We want you to check what the rules are in your area. And if you can vote, please do. There are some horror stories out there about people who are, arresting folks. But the reason they make the news is because they are so uneven and so unusual. I do not want us, sometimes when we talk about voter suppression, we inadvertently suppress the vote ourselves. The vast majority of you, when you go to the polls, you will be able to vote. You will be able to vote. You will be able to vote effectively. Yes, there are those who are trying to suppress your vote, and they're doing their damnedest, and they are making it harder. But still, the vast majority of you will be able to vote. If you arm yourself with the rules, with the tools needed, if you need an ID, bring it. If you need to sign your absentee ballot, do it. If you vote early, it makes it easier to address any issues that come up. We're heading towards the election, or a little more than 80 days out. Our goal right now is not to fight the rules, unless you're the ACLU, that's what they do. But our goal is to arm the voters with what they need to vote. Do not let them cheat you out of your vote. Try it anyway. Check the rules.
Most definitely. And yeah, we're going to stay on top of that on the Black Star Network. That's what we do. And I believe that if we keep doing that, we're going to continue to empower communities that are out there fighting back, playing chess, and maybe trying to destroy the whole chessboard that the Republicans are trying to initiate with this voter suppression. We're going to keep talking about it on Black Star Network. We'll be right back with more Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
as an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol. We've seen shooting.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
My name is Lena Charles, and I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana. Yes, that is Zydeco capital of the world.
My name is Margaret Chappelle. I'm from Dallas, Texas, representing the Urban Trivia Game.
It's me, Sherry Shepard, and you know what you watch.
Roland Martin on Unfiltered.
In 2014, the Flint, Michigan official 2014, when officials appointed by then Governor Rick Snyder switched water source to the Flint River to save money. The water contained high levels of lead and bacteria, which flowed for 18 months, affecting Flint's predominantly black population and killing at least 12 people. To date, no one has been held responsible for the continuing crisis. Joining me now is Jordan Chariton, a reporter, CEO of the Status Group, and author of We the Poisoned, Exposing the Flint Water Crisis, Cover-Up, and the Poisoning of 100,000 Americans. He's been covering this since the beginning. Thank you so much, Jordan, for joining us. And there are so many questions I want to ask you, but I just want to start with where are we today in 2024, 10 years later?
We are unfortunately not too much different from where we are 10 years ago. That might sound shocking, but despite the government's claims, there is still dirty water in Flint. I just spoke with residents today who have rashes, are getting discolored water in a lot of places in Flint. There is no criminal accountability. Tragically, cancer is surging in Flint. In some cases, some types of cancer are up 300% compared to before the water switch. And these residents do not have expanded health care. That was a short-term Medicaid expansion that has expired. So between the water being problematic and contaminated, the lack of criminal accountability, cancer surging, and frankly, an ongoing cover-up, this is, to me, one of the most egregious examples of environmental racism and injustice in American history.
Jordan, you've been on this from day one, and everybody talks about how progressive the state is, the leadership, and so on and so forth. How in the world could this be happening? When I say this, I mean, number one, what you are describing as a cover-up, and two, no accountability to this day.
Yeah, and I also want to be clear, because my book reveals this was not an effort to save money. This was an effort to make money. This was a massive privatization scheme that obviously went very wrong.
Wow.
Yeah, the details of that, I mean, there was no reason for Flint to switch its water. No reason at all. They built a completely brand new water pipeline that was on the same exact path as the existing pipeline Flint got from Detroit. Detroit cut its rate in half to Flint to save it as a customer. But there were people that wanted to make money on a brand new water system, and there were also Wall Street banks involved. So my book really, for the first time, details that whole financial scheme that is still not being punished today. The other thing is, you know, the state put out the number that 12 people died. Well, My book will show you a lot more people than 12 people died, including all the people now dying of cancer. But to quickly answer your question, how no one is held accountable, my book also reveals that the current Attorney General of Michigan, Dana Nessel, who is rumored to want to run for governor, I can't get in her head, but her decisions kind of sabotaged the criminal investigation. She fired prosecutors that were moving the investigation along, were about to go to jury trial. She fired them, she dropped all the charges, and then restarted the case from scratch, with experts and lawyers told me was unheard of. They've never seen anything like that. And then the prosecutors she put in, as my book will reveal, were kind of overwhelmed. And what ended up happening was the Michigan Supreme Court threw out Attorney General Nessel's charges. So it was kind of between the direct government cover-up and, really dumbfounded decisions by the current Attorney General. The residents of Flint, as of now, it does not seem like they will have any justice. And I'm really hoping that as many people in Flint are able to get the book, because most of them do not know the full details of who poisoned them, but most importantly, why? What were the financial motivations? What were the financial for-profit reasons that went into this issue?
Oftentimes people will say things are not as simple as they seem. They're much more complicated than you think. But it really seems that the way that you lay this out and the way that you continue to lay this out, it is as simple as it seems. And it's as simple as the fact that people don't care about this poor, marginalized community. What am I missing?
Absolutely. I don't think this could have happened unless a city like Flint, which, if your viewers don't know, once upon a time, Flint was the envy of America. It was literally one of the most booming urban metropolises in the 1950s and 60s. It was the birthplace of General Motors, and it had a vibrant middle class. But for a lot of reasons, including racist housing, racist rezoning laws, white flight, offshoring of jobs, General Motors going to other countries, Flint became kind of like a rotting economic carcass in the early 2010s. And there you had a Republican governor who literally was running government like a business. And what did he do? He declared a financial emergency and literally elected unelected emergency managers. There's a lot of focus on right now saving democracy. Well, Flint's democracy was stolen. The emergency manager took power from the elected mayor, from the elected city council. And it's those emergency managers who made the decision, let's use the Flint River, which, by the way, General Motors, Dow Chemical, a lot of different corporations had dumped their waste in the river for over 100 years. It was a known contaminated, polluted waterway. And, let's use a dilapidated water plant that was not equipped to treat the river water. Using the Flint water plant, I say, was like the equivalent of these Boeing planes that are literally falling apart midair. That's what using the Flint water plant. And the mostly white, wealthy officials at the state capitol were making decisions for this majority black community that they did not live in. They did not drink the water. And I don't think they would have been as reckless or as carefree making those decisions if it was in Ann Arbor, predominantly white, 1 hour down the street, or name your wealthier white town. So this was about race. It was about class. And as residents have told me, they were treated as guinea pigs. And my book will reveal, I do not say this lightly, I believe the biggest government cover-up of the 21st century. It involves the federal government, the state government, local government, and Wall Street. And, no disrespect to those who think Watergate was big. Nobody died from Watergate. People are still dying from this. So I really hope, it's hard in today's media world to remember the crises that happened yesterday, much less 10 years ago. But to be clear, an American city was poisoned, the government covered it up, and they've left them to slowly die.
Questions from the panel? Joy, I'll start with you.
I'm not sure if you said Joy, it cut out, but I'm going to go ahead and start anyway.
Yes,
Let
please.
me just say, I'm so glad to be on with you. So this is the 35th, if I'm not mistaken, anniversary of Michael Moore's Roger and Me. which was a documentary, if your viewers have not seen it, on Flint, Michigan, and what happened. You alluded to it before, the siphoning off of jobs when the GM motor plant closed. And I remember being a very young person, I believe, I can't remember, I may have been in elementary school, but I remember watching it. They showed it in school, and it was formative for me, and it reminded me of just how important it was for business and government to work together, and that those people had been left behind. So imagine, our devastation and their devastation to see that even after all of that attention, they were being left behind again with this Flint water crisis. And it's not just them. Obviously, there are things in other parts of the country as well, including Alabama and other places where we have significant environmental discrimination and water contamination. Interestingly, Michigan is also a place that we are all looking to see what's going to happen. Are Democrats going to win Michigan? And there's so much focus on what this Biden, Harris, et cetera, and who and what's happening in Israel and Gaza with the Muslim population there. But what we forget is there are many people who live in Flint, Michigan right now who couldn't possibly be excited about voting and couldn't possibly be excited about government. They should be, because hopefully that's what will make a change. But they have Democrats who are actually in leadership in Michigan. And yet, as our guest said, it's still not been resolved. What do we know, if anything, are the campaigns saying about this crisis, including the new Harris campaign?
Zero. Nothing. Most of the Democratic Party, whether it was under the administration, the Biden administration, now the Harris campaign, have kind of pushed this narrative, pushing the government's line that water levels are back to normal in Flint, and that now it's about restorative justice. As my book reveals, the water testing was significantly manipulated. The water is not back to normal in Flint. And frankly, residents need universal health care in Flint. If your audience doesn't know, in the case of Libby, Montana, they had an asbestos disaster back in, I believe, the 2000s. A lot of people died. And during the Obamacare fight, their Senator Malkus said, I'll give you my vote to President Obama if you give my people free health care for the rest of their lives. And they got it. Well, Libby, Montana is about 96% white. The people of Flint begging for universal health care, free health care, and they don't have it. The Democratic Party and Vice President Harris can be pledging to provide them free health care. And also, the overwhelming majority of pipes in Flint have not been replaced, the water pipes. They've only addressed the pipes that go from the curb into your home. Well, the toxic water did not magically skip over the main pipes that run underneath the street or the interior pipes in your home. So residents still have damaged pipes in their homes, and the pipes are bursting. The main pipes are bursting all the time in Flint. So the campaigns, I mean, we know the Republicans aren't saying anything, but the Democratic campaigns of many years have not said anything. And the White House of several Democratic presidents have basically done very little. I mean, they tried to push the messaging during the infrastructure deal. They replaced lead service lines and kind of alluded to Flint. Well, it's been 10 years and they haven't replaced the lead service lines. And they also haven't replaced the interior pipes. In my book, I tell an account from former Flint Mayor Karen Weaver. She asked current Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer for funding, for help to replace Flint residents' plumbing inside their homes. And Governor Whitmer, this is according to former Mayor Weaver, told her the state legislature has Flint fatigue and I can't get any more money. So the bottom line is this is still a disaster. It's not a crisis from the past. That's a narrative that's been put out there. But 10 years later, residents are still getting rashes. There are residents still losing hair. There are residents still getting smelly water and discolored water. And also the infrastructure in Flint, the water pipes, they were built for a city when it had 200,000 residents. Flint has 80,000 residents now. There's sections of Flint where there's a lot of abandoned homes where the water is not being used. That leads to stagnant water, which then leads to bacteria, not just in Flint, many other cities. So there's a lot of problems, and I've just been trying to keep this and keep attention on this because you can't normalize any city, black, white, doesn't matter, especially black, cannot normalize people being harmed by their government and then it kind of being swept under the rug.
Dr. Malveaux, your question.
First of all, I want to thank you for your resilience and your persistence in following this story. I know Mayor Weaver personally. She's a dear friend. I'm frustrated because I'm surprised to learn that Gretchen Whitmer, who wants to put herself out there as some kind of champion of the people, would say people are flinted out. I mean, how do you get flinted out when people are gay? And it's been a decade. There's been no justice. And the word, you said something a bit back, which Oma Congo knows this is one of my favorite words, predatory capitalism.
Yes.
The reason that Flint got exploited was because people found a way to make money from their misery. They didn't need the new water lines. They just wanted them because then they could make more money. Detroit gave Flint a break on their water prices, but the new authority, I understand, and I haven't finished your book, but did not give them such a break. So somebody's making money. So the dots need to be connected, and basically the lowlifes, and I use that word advisedly, need to be exposed for what they did to the people of Flint. Now, you've done exhaustive reporting. I know you talked to lots of individuals. You have one part of one in the book where you talk about a man who basically blew up at a city council meeting, just being so frustrated at the fact that he could not get any answers, that they can't get clean water. In your reporting, is there any recourse? Is there anything? Is this just so like we say, oh, well? I mean, you're right, the Biden-Harris administration, or now the upcoming Harris administration, could do something. But, in my mind, and you correct me if I'm wrong, President Biden could sign an executive order tomorrow and bring universal health care to the people of Flint. He could do that. And it would make a huge difference to those people who basically are dying. But what recourse is there? Do you think an executive order is a possibility or a likelihood or a possible solution? Help me out with this, because I'm listening to you gets my blood boiling.
Well, I also want to point out, and I know a lot of your viewers, might think, might be pro Democratic Party. I don't care either way. To me, politicians on both sides are corrupt. But the current Attorney General, Dana Nessel, I put in several Freedom of Information requests because she has documents outlining the financial fraud that caused this crisis. Particularly, there was a RICO investigation, and there were RICO charges. RICO is what they use against mafia figures back in the day, 1970s, 80s. The original investigators were about to charge racketeering, RICO, against several high-level officials for the financial fraud that I outlined. For whatever reason, Attorney General Nessel fired them, and she did not follow through on that case. I have put in Freedom of Information requests because the investigation is over. The Michigan State Supreme Court threw out the current Attorney General's charges. She is withholding those documents. I believe those documents outline the role of several high-level state officials in this financial fraud, as well as Wall Street banks, including J.P. Morgan and Wells Fargo. Important, there still is, if the financial fraud is exposed, I believe, and based on lawyers I've spoken with, there still are criminal charges that could be filed related to the financial fraud. That's why it's so important that the Attorney General, even if it's slightly redacted, release that information. So far, first, her office told me they didn't have the documents. Then suddenly they found them. And then she's not giving them to me. So that's number one. I believe there still could be criminal charges related to the financial fraud. Let's just say scam, to simplify it. Number two, President Obama, when he was in office, he did not declare a disaster in Flint. He declared a state of emergency. That's key, because a disaster means the federal government, basically, they could have sent the Army Corps of Engineers into Flint and dug up all the pipes And it would have happened not in 10 years, but probably a year. That's still President Biden. Democrats like to say, well, by law, we can't because that's only for natural disasters like hurricanes or tornadoes or whatnot. Well, they seem to be able to find a way for things when they desperately want it in Washington. I believe, and based on lawyers I've spoken to, that the Flint water crisis can be fit into that. And a disaster could be declared, which would unleash a lot more federal resources, including the Army Corps of Engineers, because, again, years later, they have not replaced the pipes. Do you know in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is an hour down the road in White, they replaced the pipes after the Flint water crisis. They replaced the pipes preemptively, lead pipes. There was no problem. They just got rid of them preemptively because of what happened in Flint. Yet in Flint, they haven't replaced them. That is a federal government. That is a federal government failure. So they could still declare a disaster. Like you said, Biden can, I believe, provide universal health care for the people of Flint. And right now, cancer is surging in Flint. So they need doctors, they need health care, and they also need behavioral specialists and a lot more behavioral and cognitive support because children have been damaged with learning disabilities, volatile mood swings, which leads to crime. Lead affects your brain. There's a lot of problems, physical and mental, not to mention the PTSD, the trauma. I mean, you go to Flint, I talk to residents, it's dark. I mean, people are tired and fed up. And in terms of 2024, I'm not a pollster, but I could just tell you based on the hardcore activists I'm talking to in Flint, a lot of the residents I know, they are not, it does not seem to me like they are just, chomping at the bit to get to the polls. Even Harris. And we know how tight it is in Michigan. So if you get a lower turnout in Flint or Detroit, I mean, that could cost the Democrats the election there. So I think that the federal government, whether it be nominee Harris or current President Biden, need to right the wrongs. And by the way, the federal EPA, both under Biden and before Biden under Trump, the federal EPA has not acknowledged guilt and has not settled the people of Flint. So they have not provided Flint money. The federal EPA, the state of Michigan has settled with Flint for far too little, in my opinion. The EPA has not. So that's another thing President Biden can do, to pledge to, first off, admit guilt and then settle. So there's a lot President Biden and now nominee Harris could do.
Thank you much, Jordan. I really hope that people will check out your book, We the Poison, Exposing the Flint Water Crisis Cover-Up and the Poisoning of 100,000 Americans. And I just want to thank you for your continued and tireless effort on behalf of the people of Flint and your work with the status quo to really call attention to this. And we're going to be here to help keep our people updated as well. So keep us posted on all of your efforts, too.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no doubt. No, take care. And you all, we're going to be right back with Roland Martin on the Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. And don't forget, we're going to be talking about that 1 year later, the Montgomery Riverfront Brawl. Stay tuned. We're going to be getting in on that as well. We'll be right back.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Democracy in the United States is under siege. On this list of bad actors, it's easy to point out the Donald Trumps, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, or even the United States Supreme Court as the primary villains. But as David Pepper, author, scholar, and former politician himself says, there's another factor that trumps them all and resides much closer to many of our homes. His book is Laboratories of Autocracy, a wake-up call from behind the lines.
So these state houses get hijacked by the far right, then they gerrymander, they suppress the opposition, and that allows them to legislate in a way that doesn't reflect the people of that state.
David Pepper joins us on the next Black Table, here on the Black Star Network.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kim Coles.
Hey, I'm Donnie Simpson.
Yo, it's your man Deion Cole from Blackish, and you watch
Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Asada Amon has been missing from her Beaufort, Georgia home since February 1st, 2024. The 16-year-old is 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighs 115 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information about Asada Amon should call Gwinnett County, Georgia Police Department at 770-513-5700. The Biden administration paid out more than $2 billion in direct payments for Black and other minority farmers discriminated against by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. According to the USDA, more than 23,000 farmers were approved for payments ranging from $10,000 to $500,000. Another 20,000 who planned to start a farm but did not receive a USDA loan received between $3,500 and $6,000. USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack told reporters that the aid is, quote, not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured, but it is an acknowledgement by the department. Unquote. That's a very interesting statement. The USDA has a long history of refusing to process loans from Black farmers, approving smaller loans compared to white farmers, and in some cases, foreclosing quicker than usual when Black farmers who obtained loans ran into problems. Most payments went to farmers in Mississippi and Alabama. Now, Dr. Malveaux is the economist, and we talk about this and these predatory economic practices. And I'm thinking of Farmer John, and I'm thinking of the late great Joe Madison, who fought so much for this. How are you processing this? Some people saying too little, too late. Some people saying better late than never. Some people are saying that much more is owed. Give us your economist take on this.
Well, number one, much more is owed. Much more is absolutely owed. It's always difficult to get the federal government to admit that they were wrong, as we just saw in the previous story about Flint. So good for them for doing it, but it is too little too late. When he was Secretary of Agriculture before, Vilsack did not support these kind of payments, which he is now supporting, but it's not very much. When you're talking about you was trying to start a farm, you did everything. These loan applications sometimes over Congo are 40 pages long. So you jump through all the hoops, you do everything you're supposed to do, and they give you $6,000? Really? So there are economic ways that we can measure missed opportunity. There are ways that we can measure, but for their racism, this might have happened. We know that in terms of land, that we as a people have lost so much land. We have only 1% of the land that we had in, I think, 1910. Basically, they've been grabbing our land, and every time we try to do something, there's a door slammed in the face. So while I applaud, Brother John Boyd deserves every kudo that he can get. He's a hero. He is a hero. He's been very persistent about this. He's used his own resources. He won't let it go. He's like a tiger with a tail. He will not let it go, and we all appreciate that. But we know that there is no equity here. There's no justice. Even the people who got the $500,000, tell me, how long they waited for that. I found, actually, it's kind of funny. I was doing a program at the Smithsonian, and I found a cousin, a sister, last name Malveaux, from one of those Louisiana counties, where actually the Department of Agriculture had put she and her husband off of their farm for 2 late payments. They sued, and they got something, but again, they didn't get nearly what they lost. She said that the size of their farm was reduced by like 60%. So they didn't get everything. They got put off. They sued to get it back, and they got it back, but not all of it. So, I mean, it's the way that Black people are treated in this country is shameful. And while everybody's celebrating, and I am too, the fact that we have a presumptive Black president, let's be clear. Structural racism is not going to go away. We have to keep fighting. We have to put these folks on blast. And so, as I said, all 3 of the things you said at the beginning, not enough, too little, too late, about time. All of those things are true, but even more true is there is no economic justice. And that's what people are really looking for. We look at the wealth gap, Congo, and we think about how the wealth gap affects the way that people live, what you have less access to because of the wealth gap. When you think about that, then you understand the extent of the damage that's been done to our people. And 6,000 here, even 500,000 there is not enough to compensate for that.
Absolutely. And Joy, real quick before we go to our break, something about this comment bothered me, that Tom Vilsack would say that the aid is not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured, but it is an acknowledgement by the department. Why is it so hard to acknowledge Black people's pain?
Because they don't want people saying they're giving out reparations. They don't want, and their lawyers review that. It's BS. Excuse me, I don't want to offend anybody. It's offensive.
Dr. Bravo, you know, that's, go ahead, keep going.
You know.
Be unfiltered, sister.
It's bullshit, okay? And we know that. And so we have to be really clear. No matter who is in the White House, we have to be 100% clear-eyed that we will be looking for results for our votes. If we're voting for you, we don't want to get to the end of 4 years and still have a Flint water crisis. We don't want to get to the end of 4 years and have to play around the edges around acknowledging the pain of Black farmers and dealing with other economic matters. We need results. And frankly, kudos to the Biden administration for getting here, because we didn't know. I mean, this is a long story, right? That really has spanned almost the full 4 years. So we didn't know where we would be. So we're glad to be here. Thank you for what you've done, but it's not enough. We thank you. It's not enough. And frankly, it's deserved, because Black people have been voting and have been investing in the Democratic Party. Of course, this should have been the party that should have made sure that we got some recourse and some reparation or some payment for Black farmers. But $2 billion is just simply a drop in the bucket to what is lost. And that is also, I know we're going to break, why we have to talk about history in this country, why the 1619 Project. I remember being a Senate Chief of Staff, and I was listening to the last episode of the 1619 Project as I was driving to work one morning. And by the time I got to work, I was just crying profusely.
Yeah.
I didn't fully understand the history. And I consider myself to be an educated person. We must tell our history so that people understand, because once you know what happened to Black farmers, it's very hard to unknow it. It's very hard to unknow it.
Once we know better, we got to do better. And so we're going to keep our eyes on this and any efforts that people try to give to block any future funds that are coming towards our farmers, because they absolutely need it. We'll be watching. Black Star Network will be watching. And we will be right back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Good job, good pay, good life. Would you be willing to walk away from it to achieve real wealth? Well, that's exactly what this woman did, and boy, did it pay off.
Once you make the decision that this is the direction that you're going to go in, I do believe that there's power in having a decided heart.
Hear her story on The Next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, on Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Jamia Pugh. I am from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, just an hour right outside of Philadelphia.
My name is Jasmine Pugh. I'm also from Coatesville, Pennsylvania.
You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Stay right here.
In Nevada, a Black man says a white racist verbally assaulted him. Rick Johnson said he was trying to collect signatures on a petition to lower attorney fees at a hot August nights event in Virginia City when nearby attendees targeted him with racist language. Take a look.
Keep talking. And where the tree at to hang people at? Where is that? Where is the hanging tree at?
In your backyard.
Gentlemen, can I please?
No, no, no. He just said there's a hanging tree down there to hang people like me. That's racist.
That is.
That is racist. Y'all go take it back and he's being racist?
Crying motherfucker. He's a crying motherfucker. You know what?
That is fucking horrible of you.
He's just as human as
I'm doing a job and I did not disrespect you, not once.
Oh, man. Come on. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Man, you know what? Fuck you and I'm not leaving. Make me leave, motherfucker, because I can't take...
I don't make trash. I burn it. That's 5th grade.
And y'all laughing at this? And y'all laughing at this? This is what y'all like? This is what y'all like?
We love it, man. We love it.
You love it?
Get your fatty flag on, man. Come on. Get your fatty on, man.
And all of y'all accepting this shit.
That's right. That's right. We do. Hey, man, I'm having a great day. I'm having a great day. I love it.
Fuck all of y'all. And I'm going to stay right here because y'all don't scare me.
You got to suck me.
What? Got to do what?
I'm built like a lemon. You got to suck me.
If this is the way that you're talking on camera to me, sir, and I never disrespected you until you disrespected me?
Oh. Candid camera, actually. I'm going to be on the 5 o'clock news. No, I'm going to be on How. I thought you said you had a job.
I got a job.
Well, go do it.
Man, fuck you. You do it.
Oh, hey. Just go do your job.
You do your job.
I'm doing it.
Why are you going to say fuck you to everybody?
He said fuck me because I can say fuck you too. What the fuck you mean? He's being fucking racist to me, man. Get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face. Who the fuck are you?
Jesus Christ.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck you too. The fuck?
That's the only place.
How you doing?
He seems to know.
Are you along with them?
Yes, he is.
Okay, but why is he being fucking racist to me, talking about there's a fucking hanging tree down there? Are you along with that? Are you down with that as well, like him?
So, he's my dad, first off.
Don't fucking touch me. Don't touch me. I'm not on your property. Don't touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Do y'all see this shit?
I'm not saying nothing. I'm telling you to get off my property.
Fuck you. Now what? Let's do it. Come on, let's go. Slap me, hit me. I want you to. I want you to hit me.
I love you. You're my brother.
No, I'm not your brother. Don't touch me. This is fucking racist to the most.
You're my brother.
You're wrong.
You're my brother.
You're wrong. You get out of my face.
Do you understand what that means? Do you know where you are? Do you know the history of the town?
I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing anything to anybody. Y'all gonna kill me? Kill me. Kill me. Do it.
You're my brother.
Do y'all see? Don't touch me.
I love you, baby.
Are y'all gonna allow this shit to happen? This racist stuff?
Come on, calm down.
No, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Baby, why are you so upset?
Don't touch me. Why are you touching me, ma'am?
Okay, come on.
This is crazy.
Calm down. You're causing a big old fuss.
Because I didn't do anything to anyone.
Honey, I know, honey. Jesus loves you. It's okay.
Do y'all see this at the most?
Jesus loves him. He just don't get it right now. Calm down.
Can you let me go fucking leave, please, ma'am? But but you're steady touching me.
Honey, I love you, baby.
You're steady touching me, ma'am. This is assault.
Do you have a mama?
This is an assault.
Do you have a mama? Do you have a mama?
Ma'am, can you leave me?
What are you doing here?
I'm doing a job. And I'm not bothering anyone.
Well, you are now. You got everybody all upset,
But you're touching me. Don't touch me, ma'am.
Come on.
You're touching me. I have to call the police. That's assault.
I'm taking you. He's right here. Let's go.
Don't touch me. You don't touch me.
I'm not, baby.
Can you leave me alone? Y'all gonna allow this shit to happen like nobody cares? Nobody see this racial shit going on?
Honey, the sheriff's right here. You can tell him all you want.
Your dad just said there's a hanging tree for niggers like me. What does that mean? What does that mean? And I did not disrespect your dad. I asked him nicely, excuse me, sir, are you a registered voter? He said no. I said thank you. And then he turned around and said there's a hanging tree down the road for niggers like me. That's exactly what the fuck he said. And all of them ganged up on me. I have it on video.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
And everybody is going along with that shit.
Are you okay?
No.
What do you need right now?
Look, I can show you the video.
It's okay.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And all of them just ganged up on me.
It's okay. You're all right. You're all right.
Johnson posted his follow-up on his TikTok account.
Hey TikTok, what's up? Yep, I'm the guy in the video yesterday that happened to out in Virginia City, Nevada. I just want to tell everyone, thank y'all for all of y'all support. Thank y'all for coming in and putting y'all comments and finding this guy and finding these people, because this is unacceptable. Like, I just want everybody to see that racism don't just goes on to person. Racism is like in all these little small cities and small towns, as y'all can see. I did nothing wrong to that guy. I was only doing a job, and I'm very committed to my job. All I did was ask him would he sign my petition to lower the attorney fees that they have in the state of Nevada. And this guy just started going off and saying all these derogatory, rude, and nasty things, and then his family came outside, and then the chatting and all that in the background, that was very hurtful. I know I could have went about it a little different way, but at that moment, I didn't know what else to do. I was cornered in by a lot of people. I was the only African American that was there with thousands of other people, and nobody came to my help. But I do want to give a shout out to this lady named Tiana. She did come to my help. I want to give a shout out to everybody on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram that came to my help, that was there for me, sending me love. And I thank you guys for all the different messages. I gotta go, I gotta get back to work, but I will go live and go into more detail of what happened, so you guys can know the more detail of everything. So I thank you guys, and y'all have a wonderful and blessed day.
Nevada's Attorney General Aaron Ford issued this statement. My office is aware of the hateful racist incident caught on camera in Virginia City, one of Nevada's most storied platforms. Individuals are shown verbally harassing a black man and apparently referenced a hanging tree during their aggressive interaction with him. As Nevada's Attorney General, I wholly condemn their actions. Such hate does not represent the values we hold here in Nevada, and it should not be countenanced. Accordingly, I have reached out to Sheriff Cullen to offer my support in his office's investigation into this matter. I am proud to be a Nevadan, as are the employees from my office who reside throughout our state, including those living in and around Virginia City. Nevada is rich in diversity with people from different backgrounds, and I know us to be welcoming and kind. Many have already voiced their disgust in the actions that took place. I encourage the others to do likewise. Denounce the racism displayed in the video. That is from Attorney Ford. And now Virginia City officials also released a statement. Earlier this weekend, an incident occurred in which a visitor was harassed during an event, and comments were made that were hateful and racist. We want to make it clear on behalf of the Virginia City Tourism Commission that we find this behavior abhorrent and inexcusable. Virginia City is an incredible historic town with vibrant events and a welcoming atmosphere. We stand wholly against any acts of hatred, racism, or violence. Virginia City is proud to be a town that invites all individuals, and we are working closely with our merchants and event partners to create a community that is inclusive and open to all. Julian, you're working on this book on lynching. I just felt like I was getting ready to watch a lynching right now.
I know. No, the whole thing was ridiculous. And to say they have a tree to hang folks, I mean, I don't, the brother has the right to be there. Any of us has the right to be anywhere. But it makes my, it makes my skin crawl what he endured. And the fact that these folks were proud, laughing, proud of themselves, that's what happened at lynchings, Omekongo. That's what happened at lynchings. People left church and took their little children to watch a lynching, and then stood under the body, smoldering body, because half the time they lit the body on fire to cut off toes and fingers and macabre relics of the lynching that they had just enjoyed on their way out of church. that reminded me at some level of some of these lynchings that I've read about, just the raucous nature of the conversation. And even the woman coming out every time, God loves you. Go away, go away, go away. That's your daddy. You never mind. I'm not going to talk about the girl's daddy. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. But bottom line on McCongo, unfortunately, now Virginia City was a city in North Nevada where I believe that movie or that series Bonanza was set. Remember Bonanza? Mm-hmm. And they did hang people. They didn't just hang black people. They hung horse thieves and robbers. Lynching was a part of life. The fact is that most people lynched were black people. But if you found a cattle rustler, you might hang him too. So the fact that they had a hanging tree is not unsurprising. The fact that the hanging tree was mentioned in the same context as a racial slur, and then this man was hounded, people get in his face. I could see how he felt cornered. He was probably frightened for his life. But this is America, folks. This is America.
And Joy, one thing I caught from there was, yes, those men were older, and people expect a lot of the racism from the older people. But one of the younger women said something to the effect of, "Do you know what town you're in?" Like, basically,
exactly.
In my opinion, you know what's about to go down. How did you see that, Joy?
It's so funny. Like, I had many different emotions. First of all, I do not expect older people to be racist. I don't just expect that, and I certainly don't accept that. So we need to put him on blast, and we need to show his face. And anyone in his family who is not addressing his issues is a problem. 2, the woman who came out, I'm not sure if she was trying to protect him by saying, "Do you know where you are?" Or if she was trying to gaslight him. I'm thinking it was a little bit of both, which is disturbing. If she had a sense that, well, at least if I'm on camera, let me be seen as trying to placate the situation. But it wasn't placating the situation, because instead of focusing on him, she should have been focusing on the other people in her town. And I don't believe that ultimately she was trying to protect him. I think she was trying to protect them.
Yeah.
So but however you swing it, it was a problem.
I am wondering how much alcohol was involved, because that was just a very raucous crowd. And this is a relatively small city. The brother's just trying to get petitions. So have they been drinking? Have they been drugging? Not to make an excuse, but I'm just looking at them and saying, really?
Yeah. Also, the dynamic here with a white woman touching him.
Yeah.
And you could feel his fear. Part of the reason he was backing up. Now, if she had touched me, I might have engaged differently. You know what I'm saying? If she had touched Dr. Balboa, I might have engaged differently.
No, you're absolutely right.
What would I have done?
We got to break, but at that point where she walked up to him, I was like, please don't push this woman, because it would have been over as people started to surround him. So we absolutely have to keep an eye on this. I really respect this brother for what he was doing and putting it out there. And let's continue to show that support, because I have a feeling we're going to be talking about this again. So we're going to have to table this for another day and come back and talk about it another time. We'll be right back. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
On a next, A Balanced Life with me, Dr. Jackie. Think about for a moment some of those icky behaviors that you display every now and then. Are you a petty Betty or a crabby Kathy? Where do those less than attractive traits come from? We all have them. And more importantly, how do we get rid of them to make certain that they don't infect other people?
Pettiness is something that we all carry. It's just make sure that you carry it well and you don't use it to intentionally hurt.
On the next A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie on Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Marissa Mitchell, a news anchor at Fox 5 DC.
Hey, what's up? It's Tammy Roman, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Last month, Roland attended the 2024 National Urban League Conference in New Orleans, Louisiana. There, he caught up with civil rights attorney Ben Crump and had a discussion about the upcoming anniversary of Michael Brown's death and the impact of how he died and how it left an impression on the entire country.
Next month will be the 10th anniversary of the death of Michael Brown. And that entire situation really in many ways changed America.
Yeah. You know, Trayvon Martin had for the first time people talk about what black people have to endure on a regular basis. And it was the first time since Emmett Till that the tragic killing of a young black person had been catapulted to the top of national attention. You were there. You were one of the first interviews with Trayvon's parents.
Absolutely.
But it was when that outburst in Ferguson, when they burnt that city down and said, we're not going to take it anymore.
Because right before that was Eric Garner and John Crawford.
Yeah.
Those two happened about like in the same window, but that totally changed everything.
Yeah, and you know, the thing I remember most, Roland, about how it changed everything, those young people were so fearless. They were courageous. Roland, I remember they had a young kid who had his nose at the edge of the AK-47, the assault weapon of the National Guard, and they were fussing and cursing him out. I'm like, hey man, if his finger slipped, you gone. And they was like, it don't matter. If we don't do this now, when these cameras go away, they gonna kill us anyway, so let's let them see what they doing to us when the cameras are here. And I had never saw anybody that convicted to say, we refuse to be silent anymore.
And what I remember, the night the DA, I've seen you, I've never seen you that dejected and emotional. That was, when that DA chose not to indict and make that announcement, I can still remember how you looked and your response.
And Roland Martin, the reason you were so aggravated was they didn't even get a chance at justice. And you had 35 black people in the community say he had his hands up, but they chose to believe the narrative of one white police officer who said that, no, he was charging at me and I was in fear of my life. So it meant that black people, we don't even matter. You know, like what we say, they always discount. But when a white police officer kills us, they take his narrative as the gospel. And remember George Floyd, before the video came out, they had the police report and they were running with it. And so that's why I was so heartbroken, because that DA, all the rules were changed, Roland.
Well, look at this here. Let's go back to Minnesota. This Cobb shooting, and now you have the governor who said, "Oh, if the prosecutor didn't drop the charges, I was going to replace her," and it's supposed to be a progressive governor.
Yeah, and a consideration for VP in Minnesota.
I think that decision has taken that off the table. It's going to be a problem. But again, so the fact of the matter is, Sonia, Massey. So here we are, 10 years after Michael Brown. We are still dealing with this, which is a reminder to people that the battle continues. We are still dealing with trigger-happy cops who see us as threats, and we've got to keep fighting to hold them accountable.
Yeah, and Roland Martin, I know we're going to talk about this one a lot, because I don't take for granted just because they brought charges that he's going to get full justice. Laquan McDonough, right there in Illinois, has 16 counts. And they convicted him, and the judge gave him 7 years, and he got out in 3 years and 2 months.
The cop that shot Terrence Crutcher.
Yeah. I mean, they just get slaps on the wrist. And so this is the worst police shooting video ever.
Ben, I've had to air a lot of them. It was hard for me to air that one. It was so hard. She was boiling water.
Yeah, and she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. How can you get mad at that?
Right.
And she said, sorry, sir, sorry. That was her last words before the bullet shot her right under her left eye, and it was in a downward trajectory, as we discussed in the autopsy today, to show that Roland. He was in a downward position. He had absolutely no fear.
Right. But first of all, there was a couch, and she's on the other side. Oh, she was going to douse me with hot water.
And he had to walk around the counter to get a better shot. So, Roland, just like George Floyd video galvanized people in our black community, I think this video is going to galvanize people in our community to go vote and make Kamala Harris the first black woman to be president.
First woman to be president.
And first woman to be president, because Sonia Massey blood is on this ballot.
And the vice president reached out to the family of Sonia Massey.
We talked for almost 35 minutes.
Wow.
And even when her staff and everybody was trying to get off the phone, she kept talking. And that's why I love Kamala for many reasons. Obviously, we all are dear friends. But Kamala calls me on every one of these cases. I mean, no matter how busy she is, and you know she was busy this week.
Right.
And she thanked me for, apparently, she heard what I said on Win with Black Men, right, that you did masterfully, King.
Appreciate it, baby.
And so and she was very happy because us black men now got to kill this rumor about we not standing with her. And you led on that, brother.
I do want you to speak to this here, because I think Biden, folks, they have not done it enough. This is the most aggressive Department of Justice Civil Rights Division since Robert Kennedy, and they won't talk about it enough. The cops that they put in jail, the wardens, the jailers, the hate crimes, the patterns and practices investigations, the fighting redlining.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all, you have success story, tell it.
You know, I'm smiling because I'm thinking about our brother Plies, who say, hey man, y'all don't know how to brag.
Right.
Can y'all just learn how to brag on everything you're doing? But I go to the DOJ. Our sister, Kristen Clark,
right,
who you emceed her lawyers committee for civil rights when she was executive. Kristen Clark is doing extraordinary things, man. She is what we dreamed about being at the Department of Justice over civil rights, because she is not holding back. She said, I came here for a purpose. I'm not worried about the next year whether I get to be Attorney General.
Right.
She said, no, I'm going to do the right thing. George Floyd, charged, convicted. First time, and Ahmaud Arbery, first time in Georgia history, charged, convicted. First time in the history, federal charges brought against a police officer for killing a black woman. Tyree Nichols, she brought charges. I mean, other than Robert Kennedy, she has done more than any other assistant attorney general. And if I have my
Robert
way
Kennedy
wrong,
was pushed to do it. She walked in.
Man, call me on Sonia Massey. We don't have to call her. When she sees it, she wants to know whether any of these other complaints by black people. That's how focused she is on saying we're going to hold up civil rights for all Americans.
So for all the people, Ben, who are upset that the George Floyd Justice Act was never passed, Tim Scott, I want people to understand, even though that did not get passed, that this DOJ has been putting in the work.
Man, in a phenomenal way. They put in so many cases that you would never know about, talking about environmental racism and environmental justice with our brother Donald Regan. She's working hand in hand with him. Michael Regan,
right.
Thank you. Talking about banking while black, cases I fight every day. It's her Department of Justice who keep collecting the data, making them turn over the information, because you can't tell the federal government no, but when they get it, she doesn't keep it to herself, Roland. She puts it out in the public so we can use it for our litigation and say, hey, banks, we're not asking you to do anything special for black people, but just give us access to capital too.
Right.
Because like the Fearless Fund, y'all, economic freedom makes all the other freedoms that much more attainable.
Yep.
Education freedom, healthcare freedom. Once you got economic freedom,
right,
and you know, because you're making money, Roland, you know how much it means when you got economic freedom, what you can do. Because, and I laugh, but I tell you this privately,
I say
owning your own black-owned network Oh, that's economic freedom. You can have all kind of freedoms now.
Right.
Once you have that rolling.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I say debt is slavery without shackles. So when you don't have debt, you have economic freedom. You can say what needs to be said, and you're not worried about whether you're gonna eat.
Amen.
Ben Crump, man, we appreciate.
Hey, King, we've been on this
Keep handling the business.
Let's go make history with comedy.
Indeed.
Hey, you know that was historic what you did with Win with Black Men.
Well, wasn't just me. It was Michael Blake, Khalil, Quentin, Bakari.
Black men.
Right, and man, it came together in 24 hours.
I love it.
Appreciate it, baby.
All right, brother.
You keep swinging.
Roland Martin Unfiltered will be right back, right here on the Black Star Network.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
I still have my NFL contract in my house, having a case. It's 4 of them, for my 4-year contract. I got a $600,000 signing bonus. My base salary for that first year was $150,000. Matter of fact,
$150,000.
$150,000. That's what I made, $150,000. Now think about it. My signing bonus was a forgivable loan, supposedly. When I got traded to the Colts, they made me pay back my signing bonus to them. I had to give them their $600,000 back.
Wow.
Yeah, I was so pissed. Because, I try to be a man of my word. I'm like, you, I'll give you your money back. Even though I know I earned that money, I gave them their money back. I gave them their $600,000 back. But yet, I was this malcontent. I was a bad guy. I'm about the money. It wasn't about the money. It was about doing right. Because I looked at, because you look at contract. Look at John Elway. John Elway was making $1 million, $800,000. I was making $150,000. I was doing everything. And I'm like, but yet I was, I got so many letters, so I just play for free and all that kind of stuff. You don't forget that kind of stuff.
Right.
That stuff is hurtful.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Mr. Dalvin right here. What's up? This is KC, sitting here representing the Jodeci, that's Jodeci, right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Cancer disproportionately affects minority populations, leading to higher incidences and mortality rates. Mental health issues further compound this disparity. Approximately 20% of Black adults experience conditions such as anxiety and depression, which a cancer diagnosis can significantly worsen. So patients not only have to deal with the disease, but also the mental stresses that come with it. Dr. Wendy Garvin Mayo launched collaborative cancer care and mental health practice that supports cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers. And she joins us now. Dr. Mayo, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
No, absolutely. Now, I'm so glad that the work that you're doing is connecting cancer with the mental health aspect of it, because for those of us who generally think of cancer, we may think about it from smoking too much or various things like that, maybe something that might be kind of self-inflicted as opposed to something that you were born with or developed over time, and how there could be a mental health connection to that as well. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
Yes, so cancer in the United States is on the rise. This year, it's predicted that 1 million new cases will be diagnosed. And what's happening in the cancer space is that patients are being diagnosed, and we know that a cancer diagnosis shifts a patient's entire life, not only their family, their caregivers, their kids, their spouses. And what we are not very good at in healthcare is really addressing the mental health and cancer diagnosis patient. And that has multiple consequences. If a patient is not mentally sound, they're diagnosed with cancer, it not only impacts their disease process, it also impacts their ability to make sound decisions based on treatment decisions. So Collaborative Cancer Care was really born out of that gap. So I'm a nurse practitioner. I've been in healthcare for over 20 years, spent the majority of my time in oncology, and I've seen the gap. I've seen the impact a mental illness can have on a cancer patient and the trajectory of their disease process. So we are here to really fill that gap and partner with patients, caregivers, and family members who have a diagnosis of cancer to ensure that their mental and emotional well-being is sound, and we can help them on this cancer journey.
Can you talk a little bit more about what that looks like? What does it look like when a patient feels like their mental health and the anxiety and the depression that they're feeling as it relates to the cancer is actually being acknowledged by professionals like yourself?
Yeah, so when you hear a cancer diagnosis, the first thing that many people think is that it's a death sentence. We have done, amazing things in cancer care and in the clinical research area and the pharmaceutical sectors that patients are living longer now with cancer. So we have so many more cancer survivors in the United States, which is a great thing. However, those patients are not able to live a full or quality of life because they really dragged down by this mental issue that they're having, this mental anxiety, depression, insomnia. It really impacts their ability to live a good quality of life. So what we do at Collaborative Cancer Care is partner with healthcare organizations, cancer centers, and we want to partner with their patients at the time of diagnosis, the time of treatment, the time of progression, and even survivorship, because they need to talk through what's happening. What are they feeling? How are they feeling? Do they need medication? Do they need integrative mental health therapies? Do they just need someone to sit down with them and educate them on the disease, what's happening, that it's not a death sentence depending on the type of cancer and the progression of the cancer. So patients feel seen and heard when their provider can look at them and say, hey, I know this is a tough diagnosis, but hey, I have a resource for you. I have a resource. Here is someone, here is a advocacy group, is something to help you address that. And one thing that healthcare professionals need to really understand, it's not one and done. Because we see patients in the clinic and we do a good job of doing the patient education on disease and treatment at the beginning, may give them a big pamphlet, right, of resources, but this is an ongoing journey. We have to reinstitute these resources throughout the cancer journey and cancer treatment.
And is part of your work, does it also include services for the families of those affected as well? And what are the challenges that they face?
Yeah, absolutely. When you are a cancer patient, you are the one who have the cancer, but you have so many relationships, so many people depend on you, so many people love you. You are significant in so many people's lives. So your family will definitely be impacted by the diagnosis. Your colleagues, your friends, your community will be impacted by the diagnosis. So at Collaborative Cancer Care, we provide mental health, counseling, consultation, medication management, not only for the patient, but for the caregiver, for the family members. And when I say family members and caregivers, because sometimes some caregivers are bereaved, their loved one has already passed on, and they never had any mental health support. So it can be 2 years, 3 years, 20 years. It's going to be a lifetime journey. So even those individuals who have been bereaved for a very long time can also be part of our community, where we will help support you to really live a full life following the death of your loved one.
This is just so important. I'm so grateful for the work that you do. And just in the name itself, I mean, we're such a communal people. And so to be providing these services when we often don't get them elsewhere is just really important. So I really want to thank you, Dr. Mayo, and the Collaborative Cancer Care Organization for all of the work that you're doing. And I'm hoping that more people will reach out to you for your services. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care. And we will be right back at Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. It's time to talk about that brawl, y'all.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it.
This is about covering us.
Invest in black-owned media.
Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks.
We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible.
Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is roland@rolandsmartin.com.
What's good, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh, and you're watching my brother Roland Martin Unfiltered as we go a little something like this. Hit it. It's real.
On August 5th, 2023, a thrown cap in the air alongside Montgomery, Alabama's riverfront signaled a series of events that sparked a melee heard around the world. It all started when a group of white boaters, mostly from Selma, would not move their pontoon boats reserved for the Harriet II riverboat, waiting to dock for 45 minutes to an hour. The captain called over the public address system for the owners to move their boats, but no one responded. That's when co-captain of Harriet II, Damian Pickett, and deckhand Daniel Warren, a 16-year-old, went ashore to address the situation. And Joy, that's when the fight broke out. Do you remember that?
Sorry. Yes, I do remember it. I mean, cathartic is the one word that I would say happened there. It was just a culmination. Okay. When, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I was repeating you saying cathartic.
Cathartic. And when you think about the history of that particular dock, yeah, I mean, it wasn't just, it was the ancestors really coming out and saying, not just the cap, the ancestors saying, look, we've had enough. And it ends here today. Let's be clear. These were a group of drunk white people who were blocking the commerce-inducing riverboat from docking. How arrogant. When they were asked nicely to move, they refused to move, and then they attacked in a mob fashion, not unlike the one that we were originally talking about earlier tonight, right? The beginnings of a mob fashion. They actually did it. Almost like a lynch mob, trying to attack this black man, and the community got involved. The best part was when the guy jumped off the riverboat and started swimming to shore. We all, you know, they came to his defense. Now, look, I hate to see any kind of racialized fight in this country, but we have got to acknowledge that this undercurrent exists. And while I hate to see it, I'm glad that we are at least acknowledging that all is not well in our country. And we don't have to talk about it all the time, but it exists. So when you wonder what's happening in your workplace why you're not getting a promotion, when you're wondering what's happening with your schools, you know, your children's school teacher, is she undermining the mental health of your child? When those things are happening, when you're wondering why are all these people voting for Donald Trump, a veritable, you know, idiot, right? Or at least one who pretends to be someone who doesn't care about any of the things about any of those people on that dock. Why would you vote for him? Why are so many people voting for him? You gotta wonder what is undergirding that. This is what's undergirding that. We have a history of unresolved angst and racial animus, and we have got to address it. We have got to talk about it. And so, anyone who did anything that was illegal there or excessive, black or white, they might have to have suffered consequences. I wasn't happy to see it, but it's emblematic of where we are. And yes, the black Twitter, black social media memes were outrageous and just shows that you cannot outdo black people. We can fight for injustice, and we can do it and find the humor in it, because if we weren't laughing, we would be crying.
Dr. Malveaux, your thoughts then and 1 year later now?
Well, 1 year later, what has happened? What has changed? Not very much. I mean, the hoodlums who attacked that brother, they got very minor sentences. I think the one who got the longest sentence got 3 months. I think that's very insufficient. Of course, we all laughed about the white chair and Aquaman, the little brother who jumped off the pier to come and rescue the brother. There was also another one where this white woman had jumped on the black man, and his sister seemed to have leaped from some balcony or somewhere because she knew that black man could not touch that white trash. And so she leaped down somewhere and basically took care of that white woman. Joy, I don't know about you. You say you don't like racialized violence. This country was built on racialized violence. I mean, it's not, quote, as bad as it used to be. But we're still talking about Michael Brown. We just saw the brother in Nevada. Ben Crump and Roland were talking about Sister Massey being shot in the face behind some boiling water. This country is built on racialized violence. Now, we would like to think that we've gone further, but it doesn't take very much. Why do these little young white boys, what made them think they could just park their boat anywhere? They were asked nicely to move. The boat that the brother was captaining had I think 40 or 50 people on it. So, they were all inconvenienced because of this white arrogance. But this, Obakongo, you hear me talk about this probably ad nauseum. It's part of the culture. You do whatever you want to put for black people, you want to do to black people, and expect no consequences or minor consequences. Look at 4,700 lynchings that happened in our country. Fewer than 20 people, and I'm probably exaggerating, very few people were ever found guilty. These lynchings occurred with the concurrence of law enforcement. That's why they had so many lynched by or killed by hands unknown. Yeah, they knew, they just weren't saying. And so then, there are aspects of this that Joy is right, that are humorous, but at the end of the day, it really does speak to the state of this country. And the fact that I don't know quite how we get past the racism, because it says American as the flag, the racism. But it's there, it's alive and well. Now it's James Crow Esquire, not Jim anymore. And many of our more civilized people, or appearing to be more civilized, would never think of using the N-word in public, but they would think of denying you a promotion.
No doubt. I appreciate your recollections on this, both of you. And I want to thank you both. Thank you, Dr. Malveaux, and thank you, Joy, for joining us tonight and recounting this particular important moment of history. Looking forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you. Great job.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. And we did a segment on this back on August 7th, 2023, discussing this event. And we want to play this segment for you right now, 1 year later.
All right, y'all. So I'm in Birmingham for the NABJ convention. 7 a.m., my phone goes off. Man, have you seen what happened in Montgomery, Alabama, which is right down the street from Birmingham? So apparently a security guard was trying to arrange boats as terms of them docking. And so this one boat, the folk did not want to move their boat. So this black guy tried to actually do it. And all of a sudden, several white men began to brutally attack him. And man, they did not see the black 54th coming. They didn't see it was a scene out of glory.
They didn't see it was the 761st Battalion of Patton's Army. All of a sudden, brothers and sisters came out of nowhere, and it wasn't nothing but a bunch of Nat Turners left and right, swinging left and right. Rotate.
That guy in the white shirt is crew from our little dinner cruise boat who got off our ship to go over there to move that black pontoon boat on his own because those guys who parked there were told not to leave it there and they left it there. So he's just pushing it off. That's funny. Took matters into his own hands. I love it. I hope the police give him a big old ticket. Ooh, confrontation with the owner of the boat.
There are people who are on a boat watching this thing take place. So that's they're shooting on this particular boat. So while they're watching this whole deal, they're recording the entire argument. You see these folks, all the security guards, but now leave the audio up. Security guards are all in his face. They're watching this. The next thing you know, all of a sudden, the fight is about to ensue. And then this thing takes off like crazy. Now, mind you, his job is to make sure how the boats are being placed in there. These people dared to get an attitude because he started moving the boat. That's why they upset. And so you see all the pointing going back and forth. You see the arguing going back and forth. No respect for him whatsoever as a security guard. They want to do whatever it is they want to do. And all of a sudden, this thing about to get real physical real soon. In about 30 seconds. And when this thing goes off, oh man, that's when stuff gets real wild. Now you see, multiple people are coming up to him. And he's explaining to one guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, the next guy. They don't care. They're not listening. They don't care whatsoever. Then this happens. Go full screen. see something right real quick. They whooping on these dudes. You're going to see in a moment where guy in the red short, he wants to avoid all these brothers. He jumps into the water to avoid them.
She whooping her ass. She better put her in the water.
You got folks running through, they getting cold cocked.
Tie his ass up. Because y'all were wrong.
Watch this. Oh, damn. Oh, hell. They start backing off. A man in the red shorts start getting in the water. Now it's going to be a white woman in the red dress. She wants to get in on this. The brothers don't want to hit her. And then two sisters come strolling through saying, yo, we got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
Get in their ass. Oh, look at the bras. The bras jumping their ass. Because y'all were wrong for jumping on that black man like that, baby. What y'all thought was going on? They put their ass in the water, y'all. Boo out! Boo out! Boo out! Boo! Tie their ass up. Baby, please. Ooh, action. Boo out! Yo. Look at the man that waving. He was the one that got jumped on. Don't cry though. Hello.
Let go, man. It's time to go, man.
I need to take a shot. Hey, I bet y'all won't try that shit no more. On my mama. These motherfuckers need to have handcuffs on. Ain't no need to cry now. These the ones that started it. Y'all need to put handcuffs on them. Why they down there fucking crying? Them the ones that need to have the handcuffs on right here. Miss Susan McCluby and all of them. Yeah, they got clubbed up. All of them. All of them. Yeah, come get them. Come get them. Come get them. Yeah. He started that shit. Get them. Yeah. Yeah. All of them. Yeah. 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 All them motherfuckers. Fuck, they come out.
All they ass.
All of them.
We got the goddamn video, fuck that.
The fuck? That what you get? All that ass.
All that ass.
All of them.
I ain't got shit. All that ass. Hey, all of them. They ain't got no cover. They ain't got no cover.
All they motherfucking ass. Cause they should have did that. The man with the white shirt on, they jumped on him. Right there. Right here. All of them.
All them jumped on
baby, all of them. All of them. That shit was crazy. You should have did that. Man, we were waiting to get on the boat. He worked here.
He hopped on the paddle boat to come over here and tell them. They was all over.
And they had kept telling them to move their boat, but the Harriet couldn't dock.
When he got off, all these white people, they jumped
on him.
They jumped on him. We were finna beat their ass, but when it boat got
so when the boat got off, you know, they came on there. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, they started it.
You saying the white guys jumped on the black?
Yeah.
On that man right there. That's what
he worked here. He was just telling them to move their personal boat so the Marriott could dock. Because we waiting to get on the sipping cycle, and they keep circling around, and they couldn't get off. Okay. He moved their damn boat, and that's when they came down there and jumped on the damn man. Okay. That's where that came from. What?
Just for a statement. We ain't talking about you. Brother.
Yeah, they jumped on him. They shouldn't even be arresting him. Okay. They shouldn't even be arresting him. He shouldn't even be arrested. They jumped on him. He wasn't doing shit for his job. And they don't need to cry now because you were jumping on him too, baby. Yep, him too. Him, right here. Him. All them, baby.
Everybody got video.
We waiting on the boat. Baby, we waiting on the system cycle.
Ma'am, you got a video so I can see you?
Huh?
You got a video
holding on your damn street, stomping, jumping, bumping, every car off in this damn thing. Throwing the balls up at these soldiers, screaming and bleeding from their nose. But when we start, that's where we make them hit the flow. Ain't no game off in this thing. We be deep off in your car.
All right, so I want y'all to see. You see this white woman? She come running down right there in the white. Then all of a sudden she jump in there. She about to end up in the water. Watch. That sister's dragging her up. She now in the water. Hey, I told y'all what was going down. This thing got crazy. You had chairs that were flying as well. Let me tell you something. It was unbelievable. Again, social media has completely blown up. I tell you, if I type in chair right now in Twitter, I can guarantee you this video here is coming up. Look right here, y'all. There have been folks sitting here taking pictures with the chairs. They were sitting here. I mean, all of that. You've seen. Here's another angle of folk swinging. They were not playing around in this battle in Montgomery that took place at the riverfront, and it was just again unbelievable. And look, the memes have been flying left and right. Somebody put this tweet up. The National Museum of African American History and Culture already got the Battle of Montgomery chair on display. That's one of the memes. Roll the next one, y'all. Come on. Come on, let's go. Here we go. Guns down, chairs up. We've seen that one. Keep going. Keep going. Try that in a small town. Bloody Saturday, Montgomery. This brother already got a photo of the brawl on a T-shirt and already selling the shirt. And he says, on my way to Cracker Barrel to celebrate. All right, let's go to the next one. You got the photos of George Floyd, MLK, Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X on this image here. Keep going. We got this one right here. Bat signal and help came immediately. My man threw his hat in the air and the cavalry came running. All right, next, let's go. Have a seat, 1955, drop the lower third. Have a seat, 1955 in Montgomery. Have a seat, 2023. Let's go to the next one, y'all. Let's go. More memes here. Keep going, keep going, keep going. We see that, not the SS dead ass pulled up in Montgomery. We got that one right there. Keep going. What we got? What's the next meme? They're calling homeboy Aquaman. Guess what? We actually got a statement. That brother right there already has a publicist. Do y'all have the graphic up from his publicist? Heartfelt gratitude from the publicist of our hero. Y'all have it. Go ahead, pull it up. We hope this message finds you well and filled with joy as we come together to celebrate the remarkable act of bravery and compassion shown by Aaron, our cherished young hero. While I'm reading, y'all got the video of him swimming across that water? In the face of adversity, Aaron selflessly came to the rescue of a fellow colleague, showcasing courage beyond his years. We are immensely proud of his actions and the values he exemplifies, standing as an inspiration to us all. Show the video of him swimming. The overwhelming love and support pouring in from all corners of the state and surrounding areas have deeply touched Aaron. Your kindness and encouragement have shown him the power of unity and the warmth of a caring community. The outpouring of affection serves as a reminder that together we can create positive change and uplift one another. We, the publicist team, his parents, along with, here's the video of Aaron doing his thing, going across that water. Go right, come on, y'all, pull it up. We, the publicist team, his parents, along with his extended family, want to extend our sincerest gratitude to each and every one of you for your unwavering support during this time. Your messages and gestures of appreciation have not gone unnoticed, and they have left a lasting impact on Aaron and his family. As we navigate the journey ahead, we kindly request the anonymity for Aaron to process and reflect on the whirlwind of emotions he's experiencing. We assure you that he will continue being a force for good in the world. Once again, thank thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Let's continue to spread love, kindness, and compassion, and together we can make a difference. Makina Lachey is the publicist for that brother right there. Let's go back to some of the main, I'm telling you, the tweets, the Instagram posts, the social media posts, y'all have been absolutely crazy, hilarious. Folks have been saying Juneteenth as a new date. These black folks here crack me up, and black and white folks. They did an actual reenactment, y'all. These black and white folks did a reenactment. They already done. They already put with the audio. Now I want y'all to watch the brother swimming. He gonna get out the pool. He gonna start wringing out his shirt. I'm telling y'all, yo, folks have not wasted any time whatsoever. Y'all, they even got, listen, look, y'all, they even dropped brawl training videos. And this sister here, I can't make it up. Watch this.
This stuff just really, really pisses me off, right? Because all this really does is ignore and erases the disabled kids that want to participate, right? So what you're going to want to do, right? If you have a crutch, you're going to take your crutch, you're going to put your hand at the middle, you're going to use your elbow like a fulcrum, then from one side to another. You see the momentum? Yeah. Okay. Next time, just make it more accessible and inclusive.
She said, let's make it more inclusive. Oh my God, that was too much. Okay, all right. I came across this one here, y'all. Oh dang, what happened to it? Okay, y'all, I gotta show y'all this here. My man has already put out, he's called Song a Day Man. It's called The Ballad of the Montgomery Brawl. The Ballad of the Montgomery Brawl, listen.
Come on, oh come on, down to the Montgomery Brawl. Swim and run, skip and crawl. Just get yourself to the Montgomery Brawl. 'Cause slaves were disembarked there, right on that same pier. The misplaced white entitlement trickles down through the year. But acts of solidarity, while not fixing all the past, take on waves of meaning like kicking Southern ass. Pride comes before the fall. Down at the Montgomery Brawl, speeding head first to a brick wall. Fuck around, find out at the Montgomery Brawl. There's no happy endings, and there's no recompense. Just reflections of the times we live that make no fucking sense. But you can feel those punches and the men slam to the ground. The triumph of the human spirit as the chair comes crashing down. Heat wave, summer squall. Down at the Montgomery Brawl. Form up, stand tall. Just get yourself to the Montgomery Brawl. Swim, run, and skip and crawl. Fuck around, find out at the Montgomery Brawl. Just get yourself to the Montgomery Brawl.
Yo, I'm telling y'all, okay, and here's how crazy it is, y'all. Seriously, folk been sitting here. Matter of fact, brother here had to go ahead and respond to Jason Aldean. Listen. Okay, they said y'all tried it. This is what happened. Okay, all right. Okay, this was too funny. They said this is how them boys in Montgomery pulled up.
Assemble.
I told y'all. Yo, we play all of it, y'all. Okay, hold up. Okay. This is a great tweet. Black Twitter watching the Montgomery Brawl. Go.
I'm rooting for everybody black. I am. Betting on black tonight. I'm rooting for everybody black.
All right, let's see here. I got a couple more. Okay, this is how stupid it is, y'all. People are literally texting me saying, play this one. Okay. Hold up. I got to find... let me do this here, okay, because there were some comments made. So, Stephen Reed is the mayor. Do y'all have the mayor's statement? Y'all have it in the control room? Okay, pull it up, please. The mayor of Montgomery. So he's the first black mayor in Montgomery's history. Stephen Reed issued this statement. He said last night the Montgomery Police Department acted swiftly to detain several reckless individuals for attacking a man who was doing his job. Warrants are being signed and justice will be served. This was an unfortunate incident which never should have occurred. As our police department investigate these intolerable actions, we should not become desensitized to violence of any kind in our community. Those who choose violent actions will be held accountable by our criminal justice system. Now, the folks who were involved in this, y'all, they actually, all the folks out are out. People have been sending information talking about asking questions about the Montgomery Bail Project. They said that individuals, everybody is actually out of jail, so no one is still in jail. So there's no need to send resources as well. Again, this here, let me see here. Do y'all have it up? Let me see if I can try. I'm trying to switch. I got some stuff that's on my phone that people are sending me that I want to show y'all. Let's see. Here's a great photo here. Oh, well, let me see if I can pull this down. Folks literally took the photo, took this here. Why did this brother here get this photo of the chair, the image of Malcolm X holding an AK-47 by the window? This brother took a picture with him holding a chair by the window looking out. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. All right, let's see here. I saw some other videos, y'all, that have been making me holler and scream. Let's see here. I got to play this one. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Oh, this is a pretty good one here. Somebody took the photo from Good Times, and they went to work. So you see right here, they got the Alabama Sweet Tea Party. That's what it's called. They got all the people in the photo sitting there dancing. Come on back, come on back. All right, let me see here. All right, let's see if I can find something else. Let's see here. Oh, my God. There are some other hilarious videos that I have seen. This one here is truly funny. Let me go. Maybe I can go to the beginning. All right, pull it up.
Alabama Brawl? Honey, is it because I am an Alabamian or is it because I own a watercraft myself? Here's the deal. Y'all got what y'all deserve. Did you really think you was going to put your hands on somebody that was out there doing their damn job, not just to keep you safe, but to keep everybody safe at that dock? Here's the problem. People get out there and start drinking out there on the water and come back and they done got big and bad. All right? But you met the wrong one that day, honey. You met the wrong one that day because there was people in places that needed to be put and they got put in their place. You get up on my face, I can't guarantee what's going to happen to you neither. Now, I don't condone violence, but that right there, y'all got a show put on y'all, and that's y'all's damn fault. Don't get up in nobody's damn face acting like you're going to tell somebody what you're going to do on his damn dock. All right, that's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all get out there in the water and you act crazy and come back and got that wet. Did y'all see that one man's Crocs? Lord, it looked like his Crocs got his ass whipped. Oh, well, I don't know why everybody wants me to talk about this Alabama Brawl.
Oh, yeah, I'm petty. Okay, all right, let's see here. I'm real petty. I got the what? Oh, yeah, y'all saw the photo? My man had some Crocs. They beat the Crocs off his ass. Look at this here. Lord have mercy. Y'all, they beat the Crocs off of his ass. That is hilarious. All right, check this out. I just got this text message right here. Go to my iPad. It says, "Oh, I'm ready. Just check the garage." And they got a chair hanging in the garage. Somebody worked with a company. They sent me that. They said one of their co-workers sent that to them. All right, hold up. I got another video. All right, Jamal Bryant posted this one. I hollered when I saw this one because you know people got all the videos. Check this out. Go. Audio, come on.
People on this list. To post and bail for 125 people? Is that a problem? Just a minute. There's some guy out there who wants to post bail on everybody we popped at that after-hours joint.
Well, who is he?
I don't know. Some fancy color guy.
He's probably some nut. Tell him how much it'll cost him. It'll probably run off scared.
Okay, let's see. 125. Class A misdemeanor with about 500. 75.
Oh, man, I'm telling y'all, they are killing with all of the videos, the memes. Let's see here. There's another video that I saw that I thought was hilarious. Go, play it.
It was absolutely hilarious. Oh, y'all really let Jason Aldean gas your heads up, huh? That was your first mistake. You don't take fighting tips from a fake cowboy who wears bedazzled skinny jeans. I love to see it. You know those idiots were on the boat all day listening to that song on repeat. I can't wait, Bubba, till they try that in a small town. We'll show them. I've never seen a song taken away from a group of people so quickly in my life. You had a month. You had a good run. Oh, and I already know what the comments are going to say in this video. How could you celebrate violence? Both sides were wrong. You're causing a divide. Why can't we all just get along? Do you know why there's so much glee and happiness and celebration after this brawl? Because the scenario never ends this way. And we've seen that one too many times, where a group of angry white men go to attack an innocent black man. And in this case, an innocent black man who was just trying to do his fucking job. This isn't how the story usually ends, and that deserves to be celebrated. So you think about that before you say some shit like that, and understand why people are happy and people are celebrating. So, Mr. Aldean, it's time to whip out your notebook and pencil and write a new anthem. Anyways, bye. What happened in Montgomery?
Telling y'all, we didn't have that particular angle. Remember when the white woman who's in the red dress, she came in there like swinging, and the brother, they kind of started like, nah, I ain't about to sit here and hit this woman. But then the sisters was like, don't worry about it, bro, we got this here. So let me go ahead and pull that clip up, all right? Play. Listen, I'm telling y'all, Yo, this thing has been crazy literally for the last 48 hours. I don't know. I've been watching the reaction of Julian, Renita, and Omekongo. Omekongo, I'm going to start with you. This thing has been lit, and folk have been having a field day with the Montgomery Brawl.
Man, you know, it's just like everybody said, it's like not condoning violence, but everybody has the right to self-defense. And, you know, really, the end of the day, the solidarity, what was amazing. I don't want to be like pouring, I don't know, sadness on all of this, but I just get concerned about, you know, what could have happened if one of those guys on the boat had a gun in an open carry state. Like, this could have been a lot worse. And I'm concerned about the legal troubles. You know, there was one of the brothers who hit the white woman with a chair, and what's going to happen, you know, should have got arrested for that. But at the end of the day, you know, people, this is a different generation. And Joe Madison talks about this all the time. It's like the days of having to sit back and take it are over, you know, and you've shown weeks. Every week you got videos like this of people going nuts and black folks standing up for themselves. And if people are going to go down, folks have decided we're going to go down swinging. And this was a classic and latest example of that. I'm just glad nobody was strapped and that this didn't end up a lot worse.
See, this
and, you know, Jermichael Phelps did his thing. And
no, they called him Jermichael.
Jermichael, that was amazing, man. That was amazing. But I'm glad it didn't turn out worse. But
the thing here, Renita, is here. But and I'm gonna say this, and again, this is not glorifying. It's people like, oh man, y'all making light of it. No, we have shown now for multiple years black folks barbecuing, a little black girl selling lemonade, a black man with his car 1 inch in the crosswalk, a black man at FedEx and a black man at UPS trying to deliver packages, getting shot at, getting threatened, getting cussed out, having the cops called on them. Black folks have been, black man looking at some damn birds in Central Park, and the white woman threatened to call the cops. Black people have been just doing their jobs, going about their regular black lives, and hell, we just showed the black guy in a neighborhood, they won't leave his ass alone fishing. I mean, like, they have called the cops. And so people need to understand, black people are tired of being mistreated by white folks in this country. And guess what? They ran up against a brother and didn't realize, oh, they thought, oh, it's 5 or 6 of us, we can beat him down. No, the black posse came rolling through.
Absolutely. And listen, not all lynchings have to happen with ropes. They were trying to lynch that black man by jumping on him and beating him, all of those people. And like you said, they thought it was just going to be them and they were going to be able to do this and there would be no consequences. But those people got every single thing that they earned from those black people. And you can call it condoning violence. I really don't care. They got everything that day that they earned. And so I'm glad that the community did come together to literally save this black man's life and also probably taught these folks a valuable lesson. Don't try it. So, you know, they all gave him something to work with, and I am here for it.
Absolutely. Julian.
Well, you know, I have been cracking up. But anyway, right on to the black people who came together. Shame on those crazy white boys who, as the girl said, they had clearly been drinking. They had been doing something, because what would possess them? Just move your damn boat. All you had to do was move your boat. There didn't have to be a thing. The man was just doing his job. Black folks have had enough. Lots of black folks are standing up, and it felt good to watch, Roland. I have to tell you, I'm not condoning violence. Well, whatever. But it felt good to watch black folks coming together and fighting back. And basically that young brother who swam across the thing, you know, get him on the show. Let's hear from him. Let's hear from some of these folks who are there. And right on to the sisters. I mean, that brother showed enormous restraint in not clocking the you-know-what out of that white woman, the red dress on. But the sisters had that. He was trying to be chivalrous. I don't know why. But the sisters had that. And when I saw that sister kicking, again, I'm not applauding violence much.
Bottom line is, they came to that man's defense. And I've seen other videos where white folks have been attacked, football games, drunk folks, and folks came to their defense. That's what this was. And if they did not come to his defense, they were going to beat the hell out of that brother. But I got to play one more video. I got to play one more. Here y'all go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, King J. Wells. Today, I want to teach you one of the moves that I saw in the fight video. The key to having the best chair smack is leverage. Hands here, grip here, and then it's more like a, you know how, like what is called ring around the rosy? You just want to come up to here, then back up to here. So we're going to try it again in slow motion. Here. Matter of fact, let's watch the video. Let's see how he did it. Okay, so now it was more like a this. Then you pop a bitch. So it's like, let's do it fast. You ready? Let's do it fast again. You ready? You see my foot? You see, the main thing is the grip in the feet, hands. What you say, bitch? Yeah. So there you go.
I told y'all I'm petty. All right, okay. Let me find this other one that I saw. Oh, man, where is it? Oh, damn, this is a good one. I just got my open carry license. Come on. Okay. All right, come back. Okay, all right. Oh, this was trending for a while there. This was trending right there. Scuba Gooding Jr., come back. That was trending for a while, Scuba Gooding Jr. Let me see here. Okay. Y'all, there's one more I saw. Oh, man, did I post it? Where is it? This one brother, y'all, he had a play-by-play of this here video. The play-by-play was fire. Oh, my God, I was crying laughing. I'm going to try to see if I can find it. And again, Amakondo, the reason I think black people have just been have been responding just no chill. I mean, I'm talking about no chill at all. Is because we have tolerated so much shit. We have turned our cheek. We have backed up. We've de-escalated situations. We've had these Karens jumping in black folks' faces and all this sort of stuff. Yep. And folk just tired of that BS.
Absolutely. And to be quite honest, we are going to see more of it. I mean, everything that's going on in the political space and the like. And, you know, some of these guys actually think they've been deputized by the police or something. And so they feel emboldened to just put their hands on us, and they're not even strapped. They just feel so emboldened to black bodies that they can do that. This man is an employee. And like we all said, what would have happened if people didn't jump in? I mean, they could have beat him up so badly and just could have fell into the water and drowned. And this is happening everywhere, every single place we go. People who are not even law enforcement, it's like they've been emboldened watching those videos with the police and so on and so forth to feel that they can do anything to us anytime, anywhere. And too many of us are saying enough. I can't think of any black person I know who would not have intervened in that situation because we're just tired of it. And people have been watching a lot of these videos from, you know, like the 60s and stuff where so many of our people had to take it, and they think that that's just going to repeat itself. And that it just ain't real anymore.
I mean, absolutely, Renita. And but let me also remind people, while a lot of folks have been commenting, this is the same state as we speak that's trying to keep a black second congressional district out of black folks' hands as well. So we ain't just catching hands on the river, we catching hands in the legislature.
Right, and you know what? I bet the part where you mentioned about how this is the first black mayor of Montgomery, I bet you that had something to do with tensions probably rising in the area, and it's a white lash that we
Donald Trump was there Saturday night.
Right, exactly. And it's a white lash that we always talk about. First black mayor of Montgomery, come on. Like, we know what that means. And so at the end of the,
there's a candidates forum.
At the end of the day, all that happened is Jason Aldean let these Jim Crow relic throwbacks get mollywopped. He walked them right into getting mollywopped. That's what happened.
Julian.
I love it. I mean, the mayor is a relatively young brother. He's very good. I've met him a couple of times. He's really on the ball. So he managed to put out a nice statement that just basically said no room for violence. But, you know, the statements have been powerful on these videos you're showing, the things that people have to say, the lessons about how to use a chair as a weapon. Black folks have had enough. They really have had enough. And I've seen too many older Black people, my mom, my grandmother, swallow in the face of this kind of ignorance, swallow it. I remember my grandmother once, this woman made her move her car. And I was like, Grandma Rose, it was like maybe 67. I was like, oh, hell no, Grandma Rose, don't move your car. But she, rather than get into it with the white woman, she moved her car. And, you know, I had a can of you-know-what, but I was a kid. But in any case, I've seen too many Black people have to swallow. What these folks are saying is we're not swallowing the spit anymore. We're not swallowing it. And good for them, good for the community for coming together. Just it feels good to watch. It just really feels good to say this time we stood up.
Absolutely. And it is great that happened. And just so folks know, this is only so fitting. And maybe I will end the show with this one, which I think is a great. I think this is probably the most appropriate way to end the show by showing you this important historical fact that the person who patented the folding chair was a Black man. Nathaniel Alexander from Lynchburg, Virginia, patented the folding chair. According to his patent, Nathaniel Alexander designed his chair to be used in schools, churches, and other auditoriums. His design included a bookrest that was usable for the person sitting in the seat behind. It was ideal for church or choir use. Below, you can view the patent drawing of Nathaniel Alexander's folding chair. And we now know, Nathaniel, as you are an ancestor, your chair has been used to whoop ass on the riverboat, on the docks, where Black slaves were sold in Montgomery, Alabama. Some stuff just come full circle.